Hey everybody, welcome to a LEGO Studio overview here for the month of June 2025. The last time we did this, I believe it was April 8th, so it's been about 80-ish days since we've done a full overview, and we've managed to get a lot of stuff done over the last 2.5 months, roughly. Yeah, like a lot of stuff has changed in the shelving rooms and also here in the city. So today in this video, we're gonna take a look at all of those changes, and we're just gonna have a quick look at everything in the studio. Let's get started. Let's start with the LEGO City, and let's start with the downtown core half of the LEGO City. So recently we revamped the modular building layout. It's been completely changed. We used to have like these large open blocks right here that were consumed by temporary base plates and also a farmer's market. That space was on reserve. But what we did is we actually moved everything over to base plates, and that expanded the amount of space that we had available for the taking right here. So after I did that, I decided to move a lot of the modular buildings around. So now we have the brick bank, the fire brigade, the detective's office, the jazz club, the boutique hotel right here with a half base plate of breathing room in front so that it actually looks pretty cool. And also a half base plate of breathing room on the side here as well, so we can actually put some planters there, which is pretty awesome. And I did the exact same thing over here. We have that common space available, so I put some more planters over there, and there's also a fountain between the two planters, along with a bunch of stories, some coffee carts, ice cream carts. There's all sorts of birds over there, minifigures walking around. There's another coffee cart right there, and also a dining area on the canal. And then of course you've got the row of modular buildings in behind, which was expanded by 2 base plates as well. So we were able to bring that over, and that helped conceal that access point, which sits right beside the zoo. This access point right here. Yeah, cool, look at that. We got canal, Venetian houses, the town hall, the Central Park, Pop Culture Street over there, the botanical garden up here, which looks amazing with the expanded grounds, and then this new common area right here. Pretty incredible. And just over here, there's another common area by the hospital and also the Spring Lantern Festival, along with the Tudor Corner and the Palace Cinema. This block was revised as well. And it actually starts with the bowling alley, which used to have a parking lot in front of it, but that parking lot is no longer in the layout, and it's across the way from the construction site. And there's actually 8 studs of breathing room between the 2 modular building rows, so that's nice. And then we have the larger or taller modular buildings here, like the Grand Emporium, Corner Garage, Police Station, Hospital. And between the bowling alley and the Central Park, there's another 8 studs of breathing room, and that's where we also have the custom-built LEGO store. Now this area here, it used to be very similar to the area that we used to have over there. It was sort of open for the taking, and I filled that space temporarily with this building, which is my super-sized X Mansion. Now, I haven't worked on this in a while. I think it's time that we actually do start working on it. I want to spruce up the exterior of it by having like vines and stuff creeping up the building, also make a grounds with like all sorts of vegetation all around it. Maybe I should do that right away. I've been working on the countryside as of late. Have you noticed that? But to me, it's sort of crazy to think that all of these modular buildings right here, like pretty much these blocks, like all of these buildings, used to be over here. So all of that got condensed and pushed forward. How did that even happen? I can't even remember. I guess I discussed it in this video. I showed you that there was an open space there and an open space there, and by removing some of the road, we were able to just bring all those modular buildings forward, and now the X Mansion sits right here, and I actually like the X Mansion right here. What I am considering doing, maybe, is just putting that where the haunted house and the dog park is and bringing those forward. Maybe those would look better because this is sort of tall, and then we could build more of a forested hidden area around it if we remove some of the road or something. I don't know. I do like the look of this here, though. Now, this whole area is going to have to get revised. When I start working on the amusement park, whenever that is, I don't know, okay, one thing at a time here in the studio. But whenever we get around to doing that, we're going to, of course, revise this road layout. There's going to be a parking lot or a parking garage or a turnaround or whatever it may be. But yeah, I actually really don't mind this building here. So that was a huge change. I feel like that was all sparked from the even bigger change up front there. There's actually more that went down here in the Lego City downtown core. I feel like the residential was included, but no, I think we did that before the last overview. But yeah, that was done relatively recently with like the park and everything. But we placed and built the Krusty Burger with that custom pull-through for the drive-through. We flipped the Quickie Mart, which used to sit right here and face that way with a road going through, and we like brick built all of this in here. So like this is all new and improved for the Lego City downtown core. No other changes on Pop Culture Street though at this point. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I've been meaning to double up my town hall for quite some time, and we actually built the prototype there and said, okay, we got parts on order, we got parts on order. I've got good news, everybody. The parts are arriving this coming week. So we are gonna take care of that project. I promise this coming week. That is gonna be pretty cool because we've been meaning to take care of that for a long time. Now, something else that happened between these two time frames is an addition of an angled road. I thought I built this angled road a long time ago, but it turns out I didn't. It has been within the last time frame, since the last Lego City overview. And I'm talking about this angled road right here. So not only did we build this angled road, but we also relocated it when we shifted this whole block over 2 blocks. And of course that leads toward the zoo. There's a seating area on the left there, and also the newsstand right there, just out front of the zoo by all those food trucks. Now let's address the elephant in the room, if you will. What caused me to make all of these changes? It was sort of like the ripple effect when we decided to create this Lego City table expansion. The island, the 140 baseplate expansion with the 35 baseplate connection point, which serves as the beach expansion. The beach used to go this way toward the train station, and it had the skate park in behind along with the diner, which is still there. But now this beach has so much more room, and it's not just a straight line anymore that connects to that boardwalk, but rather it curves and comes out this way and goes all the way around. And we've got space for 2 more mini half baseplate modular buildings. Now the water's looking pretty good for the most part until we come around this corner here. Then only the sand looks good. So we are working on upgrading the water in this area. For now it's just blue base plates, but we are going to plate all of this off once we come up with the final solution for this coastline and once we obtain the parts to do so. But this walkway here, it used to connect to those little mini modular buildings. It was like angled after the train track, and it connected and eventually led to the beach. But now it leads to this road here where we have a railroad crossing, and that has a slight angle to it because we have our bridge or causeway, which goes all the way across and connects to the new table expansion, which is now 2 islands rather than 1. There was definitely a lot of trial and error with this island, and I foresee there being a lot more trial and error with this island. That's all part of the process of building Lego, but I'm really excited about this project. So we wood built these tables, we topped them, squared them all off, put the raised platforms in, notched the platforms, built the coastline, notched the platforms more, rebuilt the coastline, and now we have mass parts on order to millsplate this entire surface and also to start working on the water. For now, it's just the home of the coffee. But yeah, we've got 2 islands open for the taking here, and this is the thing that has caused the majority of those changes, or forced the majority of those changes that had to be made to the downtown core. So I think this here and the trial and error with all of this really did improve the downtown core in a significant way. And I'm really excited about working on this project. I don't want to get too involved with sharing my ideas on what we're going to do here. Just note that there's a lot of ideas, and when all of those ideas come together, with the right parts and the right amount of time dedication, this is gonna look incredible. And I am just so excited about it. We have some pretty big things in the works right now regarding pieces for every project in the Lego City. It's going to be huge. Huger than ever before. Huger, is that a word? I don't know, but if it is, we're going to use it. So that's the downtown core, the beach, the island expansion, and a little glance at the zoo there, along with the botanical garden behind that. And then we have the harbor and also the train yard. Really excited about this because we're gonna make some progress with this mock within the next while as well, because that town hall parts order actually includes parts for this as well. So that's gonna be really good. And then we, not recently, but we built this giant hill and detailed the hill. And that's where we have the hot spring that feeds into the river through the countryside, into the canal, and also into the zoo. Now, I'm sure you remember the process of us constructing this gigantic hill that sits behind the zoo. It was a process that was done in different stages at different points in time, but it started as like the black Technic panels, or peach, I guess, with all the support work underneath. And then it was like the green hill, the big green hill with no detail, a little bit of dark bluish gray. And then it evolved into the details with the trail and the rock work, the hot spring, and also the river flowing down into the countryside. So this went through a transformation. But when we did that transformation, we actually didn't finish it. Because a while ago, the hill used to end right here where you can see this seam. And within the last while, we actually completed this big chunk right here, which consisted of an elevated portion, all brick built, and then a big carved out rock wall, and of course the tunnel that leads to the downtown core. You can peek through it and see the Krusty Burger there. And included in this construction was another angled road that connects right here, and also to the gravel road, which was recently done, that connects to the other gravel road over there with the bridge and all of this rock work along the backside, along with plenty of trees that were constructed. But we also built this thing here. This is all Lego built. This is not wood. So under here is all hollow, and I've talked about how I want to build some sort of hidden cave underneath there. I just haven't gotten around to implementing that idea yet, but this is all brick built, and it's all ready and open for the taking for a residential expansion, which is pretty exciting. But this entire thing here was added, and of course all of this here, all the way along, was blended in along the raised mills area, all the way down to the end. Who remembers this? My arched false tunnel that's cased. That went through a couple days of trial and error, didn't it? And it was supposed to be here in the campground, and it's not. So we still have this tunnel that I do not want to deconstruct because it's going to go somewhere here in the countryside. But it's funny because I started constructing that not long ago when we were working on the campground that used to be just like black 16 by 16 Technic panels. Those black 16 by 16 Technic panels are still there, but they are completely dressed up with a copious amount of parts. And it still has a tunnel that was very similar to the one that we spent a couple days modifying there, and it's right there, but it's not for vehicles, it is for a train. So you've got the train tunnel here that goes underneath the campground. I know that's not hyper realistic, but nothing in my Lego city is like hyper realistic. It's all sort of creative and fun with Lego, sort of the vibe we go for. And that actually has a backdrop to it, so you can't see all the supporting structure underneath the campground. You can see it's actually plates that are snot mounted And it has some open arches too, so you can see the train pass through. I think that's a lot of fun. And then of course the campground, which is just packed full of detail with minifigures, cabins, RVs, tents, water pumps, or outhouses, whatever you want to call them there, check-in stations and RCMP officers and all sorts of fun games and tents being popped and wood caches and just everything that you would expect to see in a campground. And I think something that's really cool about the campground is the amount of levels or variations in height that it has. It takes so much Lego to do that. So many Lego bricks, so much construction. Like the road is elevated, it's ramped in some areas, it's angled, and of course it goes over a bridge. The train can pass underneath that bridge. And I'm just like super stoked on this. But similar to that one over there, the big green hill that we constructed, remember how I left the side of it open for that tunnel and didn't finish it? Well, guess what? It's deja vu, because the campground is just like that. And we are going to build a giant cave in there, and there's going to be some sort of mine. We're thinking it can pair up with a story with the Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. I keep ordering more of these rock panels, and then I keep using them on different projects, such as the elephant in the room over there, and that takes away from my ability to create the cave that I want to create over here. But eventually we're going to be hauling these modules back up to our desk, just the ones that involve the cave, and we are going to construct a cool cave underneath the epic campground. Now, something that represents probably like, I don't know, 2 days of straight up building that you wouldn't really think about is the gravel road. The gravel road detail was added all throughout the countryside. I'm pretty sure this area here was done, but I know 100% the campground was done within this time frame. And just having that gravel road detail just looks amazing, and we love it. We also went through and detailed this area recently. This is some of the most recent stuff that we've done in the Lego City. We added that beaver dam, and there's more things that we want to add to this area. Maybe some larger rocks, maybe some downed trees, stumps, and you've probably heard me mention before, I want to add way more trees. Like I want to up the tree game in a significant way. It's funny, I was reading a comment about the Indiana Jones plane saying, hey, it's too angled and it needs to move further down the runway. So there we go. The Indiana Jones plane has finally proceeded with taking off into the air. Maybe I'll move it again in a year. So yeah, we've got the countryside. That's looking pretty amazing. No progress has been made with the winter village. Maybe this holiday season, which I guess is coming up here. It's already June. Maybe we'll have to start thinking about what we're going to do with our winter village this year. But that involves a plethora of pieces to blend in this massive height difference here all the way around this area. So we'll have to see what I can get developed in this area before moving on over there, because as you can see, we're trying to work from our way, like right here, forward toward the ocean. Just trying to get this done before I get the stuff in the background done. But one day, it will all be done. But now I've also got to worry about the foreground. What the heck? That's all right, though. But yeah, that pretty much sums up everything that we managed to get done here in the Lego City over the last 2.5 months roughly. So a ton of changes. But there's something else that you got to keep in mind too. We've also been building a ton of Lego sets. We have built and placed over 50 Lego sets. Let's have a quick look at those. Starting with the art, there was the Italy postcard above the world map. Of course, we've got our other art right over here. And no, I still haven't put my base plates back up there. I didn't put enough tape on these ones here, and they fell down, and I still haven't done it. The parts are right there. Should probably do that. But we also have the dancing figures up top there. Also the majestic tiger. I can't remember if there were any others beyond that in regards to art. But in this room here, oh yeah, there's not just 50 new sets that we placed. This used to be a Star Wars room, and we changed it to all of the other themes. And we also added these cabinets and modified them for the heat vent. So yeah, that was a huge change. Starting over here though, we've got our brick heads. We placed a whack of new brick heads on our custom built display stands. And then we have our superheroes next. And we recently placed the Batman Bat Pod with the DC ones there. In the Marvel area, we recently expanded our Iron Man Hall of Armor. And I don't know if there was any other new Marvel sets that we placed within this time period. I'm having a hard time remembering, but I know the Buckbeak was added to the display there. And in the Disney area, we recently added Hey Hey, and also the 101 Dalmatians set. I'm sure there was a few others. The Nike Dunk set, recently built that, placed that up top. This Mario set was added as well, the pixelated one there. And so was the Mario Kart set, which was a fantastic build. I had a tremendous amount of fun with that one. And same with the Pixar lamp. That was a great one as well. We got the botanicals next after the Disney and video game style sets there. And then just across the way in the larger cabinets, we've got the Eiffel Tower, the Colosseum, and our Lord of the Rings sets. The newest one being this beauty right over here that everybody loves so much. And then there's the Avatar ones and some smaller ones on the floating shelf. Remember, this used to be like helmets and the Star Wars figures and some other Star Wars stuff. That has all changed. And there actually used to be another cabinet beside this, but these had to slide over in order to make room for those. And that cabinet got relocated over there, if I remember correctly. And then we've got space in this large unit here. The newest one that was built within this time frame is the SCA, Shuttle Carrier Aircraft. Also the T-Rex there, all of the Jurassic stuff, some of the newer Jurassic Rebirth sets, I believe it is. Also the spaceship got added to the collection as well. But yeah, just an awesome amount of sets here. Just so much color. They look fantastic. I love those. Also the Fabuland set, which is the Lego house set. And then we have the expanded medieval area in the middle. I've got interesting news in regards to parts for this too. It's all going to be happening here near the end of 2025 and going into 2026. We should have adequate parts to build everything that we've been talking about. Entering into the Star Wars room. Star Wars room completely revised. Amazing. I'm so happy that we have a Star Wars room now, and we have so much room for expansion, right? We got all our smaller stuff here, and then the AT-ATs, all the figures, and I think we probably put like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 even new sets in here, like Chopper, and so many others, like Jango Fett's Starship, which of course is the UCS set. There's so many others. I'm trying to like run my brain here of what was placed recently. I can't even remember because we do so many things involving Lego every day. I can't even remember it all. The Star Wars logo, I think, was included in the new sets. Jango Fett's helmet right down here as well. There was another midi scale one, I believe. I can't quite recall. It's funny. I should have made a detailed list. But yeah, we've just got so much room for more Star Wars sets in here, and I love having the large Ultimate Collector's Series sets and some spare shelves just displayed with that. That doesn't look too good, does it? But yeah, we got the Venator there, and then some random ones down here. People have been questioning, what are these all about? Well, those are actually excess sets that I have that I'm going to be selling in the future, but I just don't have any other good spots for them. So they're just hanging out in the Star Wars room, which I feel like I did not come in here prepared to point out all the new ones. As I look around, I'm like, I can't even remember, dude. That's funny. There was the Plo Koon's Micro Fighter, which was a new one, and a few others, that's for sure. But yeah, the Star Wars room is definitely looking pretty epic, and so is the miscellaneous set room. Loving that. And yeah, over the last 80 days roughly, we have placed 50 new sets, over 50 new sets, which is just wild. Now, building all of these sets and building the city specifically can cause a mess when you're building, destroying, repeating, trial and error and all that. And we try to keep on top of that mess as best we can. So something that I do quite regularly is clean the studio. I vacuum, I put everything where it belongs, and I do a bunch of sorting after like every build. So we try to keep on top of it. That doesn't mean that all of our stuff is sorted, but we're trying to get there. But something else that we achieved over this time frame is keeping on top of our part system and also mastering our part system. We have been 3D printing like crazy, and everything is officially done to the extent that we want it to be done. So every part drawer now has, well, maybe not every one, but all the ones that we required to have the 3D printed custom bins are now there. There's still a few others that we want to do, such as like the minifig ones. Like we still want to upgrade these ones, but not really necessary because hopefully we can just place all this stuff in the city like a wampa. Whoa! Something else I try to do when we're moving things around in the Lego city and when we're moving things around downstairs in the shelving room, which we've been doing a lot of recently, is dust all that stuff. I try to vacuum it and I try to dust it all to manage the dust. For example, we haven't moved these in a while. So my guess would be that these sets are probably pretty dusty. Let's see. Yeah, they're pretty dusty. Not too bad actually, but pretty dusty. So whenever I move stuff, I always try to dust it because that's how you manage it. So it looks like I'll have to revise my Technic shelves because they are pretty dusty. I'll just have to come through here and clean it. But that's something that we try to keep on top of while doing all of this other stuff, is just keeping it well sorted, well organized, and just efficient. And also while doing all that, we try to keep on top of uploading a video each and every single day. But there we have it, everybody. That is the LEGO Studio update as of the pretty much end of June here in 2025. I feel like we have accomplished a lot since the last update. It has been an extremely busy time. Like, we have just been go, go, go. I haven't even played a round of golf yet this year. Yikes, I should probably quit basking in the LED light and go get some actual sunlight. That would probably be good. But I'm excited about all these projects, so it's hard to put it down, you know? All right, I hope you enjoyed it. It's always fun providing a little overview and update on all the changes that we've made. It's fun doing a little recap every few months. It's pretty cool. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Farewell.